Your reaction to being the oldest player in the league again?
Welcome to the NBA Rundown. I'm Dave DeBaugh, and we are, I think, the only show in North America that actually believes what Savannah James actually does in a 2K game will actually turn into reality. All right, North America, thanks so much for tuning in. This is our very first NBA Rundown show. We are coming to you live and on tape from the heart of the Silicon Valley. This is part of our underrated pod channel on YouTube. We also have an audio version of the podcast, which goes live today. We are just 3 days away from the start of your National Basketball Association preseason. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait for that first game in Dubai versus where you've got the Nuggets and the Boston Celtics going head-to-head in a couple games over there. The T-Wolves head to the desert in Southern California, Palm Desert to be specific, to do battle with the Los Angeles Lakers. It'd be fun to see who actually plays in both of those games coming up on Friday. On today's show, we are going to talk about Ja Morant and what looks like the possible resurrection of the Memphis Grizzlies. Will the Memphis Grizzlies be more than a play-in basketball team? I will answer that question for you with some sound, I really mean this, some sound understanding of that particular roster. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But first, to the NBA Rundown we go. And I begin in Chicago, of all places, with Lonzo Ball. When was the last time you thought you'd actually see Lonzo Ball actually suit up in an NBA uniform? According to Lonzo and the Chicago Bulls, he believes he'll be ready to go for game one of the upcoming season. This is absolutely great to see. It has been well over 2 years since we've actually seen Lonzo on an NBA court. I'm running the footage of him making some jump shots. He looks absolutely great doing this. Now, in terms of other things going on in the NBA today for the rundown, we have the disgruntlement of the Milwaukee Bucks, who for some reason believe they absolutely deserve to play on Christmas Day. If you haven't heard, the Bucks have been left off of the Christmas slate for the first time since 2017, and Giannis wasn't happy about it. Well, hey, maybe Giannis and Doc Rivers and the rest of that Milwaukee Bucks team should try doing a little bit better in the playoffs if they want the opportunity to actually play on Christmas Day. I should also point out, though, that the Indiana Pacers, the same team that actually went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, is not actually in the Christmas slate as well. Take that, Milwaukee. And finally today, I just wanted to touch base just a little bit on LeBron James and Bronny James and the absolute giddiness of one LeBron James. We started the show off with some LeBron James footage. I have to say, this is as excited as I think I've ever seen LeBron James about anything. Now, I'm sure in his personal life, he's been really excited about stuff like the birth of his 3 children, like maybe getting married, maybe going on a honeymoon, maybe celebrating an anniversary, maybe sipping a good glass of cab. Look, at the end of the day, it is amazing to see how energetic LeBron James has actually been in the training facilities of the Los Angeles Lakers at El Segundo. I just want to point this out. I mean, yes, he is the oldest player in the NBA for the second season in a row. And yes, we saw what LeBron James actually did in the Olympics. And yes, we saw him put up some just absolutely amazing stats last season as the oldest player in the NBA. It is just amazing. I have to say this. I've almost always lived on the Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time fence. I've always been a proud supporter of that. But we're getting to the point now where longevity absolutely makes a difference. And I have to say, it'd be really interesting to see where I stand on this if the Lakers were to make a deep playoff run this year. All right. So on the NBA rundown, we're always going to cover the latest and greatest that actually happens in the National Basketball Association that particular day, both on and off the court. And I'm sure sometimes the off the court stuff will be even more entertaining than what actually happens on the court. That's the beauty of the National Basketball Association. But today, our primary story is really about Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies are a team that we know were just absolutely decimated last year by injuries. We saw the injuries. We saw what it actually meant from a record perspective. And we saw what happened with Ja Morant when he came back. He played absolutely fantastic. So I'm taking the assumption that there will be no major injuries with this Memphis Grizzlies team. They are significantly more than a play-in team. Now, I will say this. I think at least as the roster stands today, it is lacking a little bit of depth. And if they were to do, pull off a Dallas Mavericks style run into the NBA Finals next season or this upcoming season, I think they'd have to make a move or two from a depth perspective coming off of their bench. But their starting lineup of a Ja Morant, Marcus Smart, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., love the name, and Zach Edey, assuming the rookie's actually going to start for him, is really pretty solid. And I think we should also not underestimate just the influence that a Zach Edey is actually going to have on an already excellent Memphis Grizzlies defensive team. I mean, Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., you have two players on your team who have won the Defensive Player of the Year award before. And we all know if Wemby stays healthy this year, he'll win it. There's just no doubt about that. But Zach Edey certainly adds another significant body to an already good basketball team from a defensive perspective. And certainly what Ja Morant doesn't do on defense, he certainly makes up in spades on the offensive side of the ball. Now, in terms of the rest of the bench, you have Luke Kennard, you've got Saudi, you've got G.G. Jackson, who played excellent last year and got valuable minutes as a rookie in the National Basketball Association, and you have Scottie Pippen Jr. and Vince Williams Jr. So look, when I look at that bench, and I know there's a couple other pieces I didn't bring up, but when you look at that bench, that is where the issue will ultimately be with this Memphis Grizzlies team, especially if one or two of their key players get hurt. Then they could be looking at a situation where a play-in is part of their reality. But at the end of the day, one of the most dangerous teams in the Western Conference, and once again, if everybody's healthy, entering the playoffs would be this Memphis Grizzlies team as it stands today. All right, North America, I would love to know what your thoughts are on the Memphis Grizzlies. Where do you see them going in this upcoming season? You know, another team in the National Basketball Association that I think also has the opportunity to go deep in the Western Conference in the Western Conference playoffs in the upcoming year is the Golden State Warriors. But in order for that to happen, they would certainly need to trade away a couple key pieces of their current team. And one of those pieces would absolutely be the guy who's halfway down career mountain, the backside of career mountain, and one Andrew Wiggins. Now, I know Wiggins has had a very difficult personal time with the passing of his father recently, and maybe he'll turn things around. That was certainly heavy on his heart last season. So I think it's a wait and see which Andrew Wiggins the Golden State Warriors actually get. But if he doesn't pan out, and even if he does pan out, they're certainly going to need to make some roster changes, and Jonathan Kuminga is certainly one of those. Personally, being based here in the Silicon Valley, I would hate to see the Golden State Warriors absolutely waste 3 more years of Draymond Green press conferences and Steph Curry pregame warmups. Look, at the end of the day, this Golden State Warriors team deserves at least one more run. And I think if they want, they can actually go out and make a trade to at least give them a shot. All right, that's it for our very first episode of our NBA Rundown Show North America. I want to hear from you. Please go ahead and drop in your comments, subscribe to the Underrated channel, turn on the notifications, do all of those things. Also, check it out. We will be everywhere from an audio podcast performance. The goal is to do a show a day. Thanks so much for tuning in. I want to hear from you, so do drop your comments in. For the NBA Rundown Show, I'm Dave DeBaugh, wishing you all a tremendous rest of your sports viewing day. To the cool music we go.
This is Phoenix.